Right, the hour of 6:30 having arrived, I will call the regular meeting of the Columbus Common Council to order for Tuesday, March 7th, 2017. The clerk will take the roll.
Reed. Rule.
Here.
Tome.
Here.
Traxler.
Here.
Hendrickson.
Here.
Malat.
Here.
Crombie.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. If you are able, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this meeting was noticed in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. We have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Was there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Correspondence and communications. Mr. Shellen is signing up right now. I suppose we could deem him late, but did you want to speak at the regular meeting or
Whatever's most convenient.
what are you speaking on?
It's a new event in town.
Okay, how about now? How exciting.
Thank you for allowing me to play through here real quick. And while I try to multitask, which is easier for you ladies than it is for us guys, trust me. I'm Ed Shellen. And if you could take one, Katrina, and just pass it on. Okay, when I started my agency in '73, the way that you would call let's say, get the officer to come to an event was to walk down here to a doorway right outside this door here, flip a light switch, and a red light would go on at selected telephone poles around town to inform the officer there was somebody that needed attention. A lot of things had changed in the meantime. But one thing that hasn't changed is that this community, like other successful small communities, runs on volunteers. Just think of the organizations that you belong to or you've served in. I mean, none of you are here to earn the big bucks. That's not why you ran for the office that you've got. You're here to make a difference, to improve things. And let's see, I guess my awakening came when back in the 80s my wife was the recreation director for the city of Columbus. This is back when that was a volunteer position, and adults would get together and they'd recruit, have drafts for who's going to be in what youth league, what team. And we had successful teams. We have that same thing happening now. And that all starts back early on because volunteers are stepping forward to improve the community. And I said, gee, you know what makes news is bad things. What about all these good people? So there's going to be an event. It just so happens that the last week in April is National Volunteer Week. There's going to be an event called the Good Neighbor Volunteer Recognition Event. The city is graceful. Have you planted any, have you given away any seeds yet? Or?
I was going to let you.
Okay, good. Well, the city has graciously, along with other people that are using the pavilion, arranged for our group to have access to the pavilion on Thursday, April 27th from 6 to 8 o'clock. And we're going to provide refreshments, entertainment, music, a local hometown talent, and that sheet that you've got there, which is blatantly just asking people to, what role they can play in recognizing the contributions that volunteers, when I say volunteers, this is for someone who has served the community without any compensation. There are a lot of people, Sunday school teachers, coaches, you're probably in that group yourself. So look for more publicity on this for that select group to come and enjoy a couple hours of entertainment. What I would like, the city is doing great in giving us access to the pavilion, getting names for people. We would appreciate it if the city could, let's say, sanction, condone, whatever, make an official certificate of recognition for these volunteers. I'm excited. I have no idea of how many people are going to wind up. I mean, I've talked to some groups. It's literally hundreds of people in Columbus that fall into this category. And I'm sure that all of you know at least half dozen of them. So again, that's April 27th, 6 to 8 o'clock at the Pavilion. The recognees, the people receiving this recognition, have to register ahead of time. And we have to have time to make the certificates and get things ready. And logistically, it's going to be an exciting, wonderful activity. And I'm just looking forward to it, and I thank you for allowing me this time to help get that news out. Any questions that any of you have? Regan, are there any leftover sheets on their end?
Got one right
Thank
here
you.
for you.
I'll get them out of the way.
Thank you, Ed.
You're welcome.
Were there any other citizens who wanted to speak tonight? All right, thank you. We have the consent agenda. There are 4 items on the consent agenda. Are there any requests to remove anything from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor will signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll turn it over to Greg. And Greg today had conducted some sales of some bonds.
Correct.
And we're here to award the sale of those bonds. All right.
Good evening. As the mayor mentioned, there were 3 bond sales that were conducted today on behalf of the city. I'll go through each one individually and just kind of explain the results, and then there's some resolutions on your agenda for action. The first issue is the 2017A issue. This was the general obligation corporate purpose bonds. These bonds financed the street portion of the James Street project, the portion related to the street improvements, and then also financed the utility extensions for Texarkana District Number 4. A total of 4 bids were received on these bonds. The winning bid was submitted by Bernardi Securities out of Chicago, Illinois, with a true interest cost of 3.199%. The total debt service cost over the life of the entire bond issue came in $21,314 less than what we'd estimated and presented to the City Council last month when you authorized the sale. As a result of the issuance expenses coming in a little less than estimated, we were also able to downsize the amount that you're borrowing. So you still have the same amount for project, you just have to issue less bonds to have the capital to fund those project costs. So the final amount of the bond issue, and that's reflected in the final resolutions I passed out with the sale reports, is $1,535,000. So that'll be in a replacement of the $1,545,000 amount. We're able to reduce that by $10,000. The second sale was the general obligation promissory notes. And this particular note issue accomplished 2 objectives. One, it financed some truck purchases and some swimming pool improvements. And then it also refinanced a portion of the 2007A bonds that are presently outstanding for the city. It refinanced the sewer portion of that bond issue. The remainder of that 2007A issue, the city is paying off with cash to avoid the future interest expense. So on the notes, a total of 7 bids were received. The winning bid was submitted by UMB Bank out of Kansas City, Missouri. The true interest cost on the notes came in at 2.0335%. And the total principal and interest payments on the notes came in $41,066 less than what we estimated. So the second pre-sale report for the notes, there's a couple of exhibits I want to go through because they pertain really both to the bonds and the note issue. But first, so in the sale report that says 2017B on the front, the $1,090,000 promissory notes, the second pre-sale report. If you turn your attention to page 5, this summarizes the results of the refunding. It shows that on the current 2007A bonds, you were paying 4%. On the new portion that's outstanding related to the sewer utility, you're paying 2 to 2.65%. So on a future value basis over the life of the bonds, between paying off the water, sewer, TID 3, and levy portions, you're saving about $554,000 from 2018 to 2026. When we take into account the cash that you're applying, because you're using a lot of cash to pay off the debt, really, if we look at that savings on a present value basis, it comes in at about $67,277. We were estimating that present value savings was going to be closer to $31,500. So the savings was almost double what we had estimated. The next spreadsheet that kind of summarizes the cumulative impact of the notes and the bonds is found on page 6 of the pre-sale report for the notes. It's a large pull-out spreadsheet, and this really summarizes all of your existing general obligation debt and then incorporates the bond and the note issue that you're considering authorizing this evening. So on the far left-hand side is just a summation of all your annual principal and interest payments for your existing general obligation debt. That's shown in the second column for the right. It says total payment, principal, and interest. All of the numbers shown in red indicate the amount of revenue that the city is using to pay for that debt service other than the property tax levy. So you have revenues from TID 3, the sewer utility, the water utility, and some special assessments that are being applied as the primary revenue source to make some of that general obligation debt. So then you have the debt service levy, net debt service levy under the column existing geo debt. That just shows your levy where it was projected to be before we look at the new financings. So then on the right-hand side of the spreadsheet, we incorporate the bond issue and the note issue that you're considering this evening. A portion of the bond issue is being paid by TID 4 revenues, and a portion of the notes are being paid by sewer revenues. So we've shown all of those revenues as offsetting the debt payments. And then that third column from the right, net debt service levy, that's your new debt service levy going forward, which is very consistent to what was presented to you last month because the total debt service costs actually came in a little bit less. So you'll see for the bonds, the total debt service came in $21,314 less. For the notes, it came in $41,066 less. So the overall impact to the levy, TID 4, and the sewer utility are very comparable, but slightly better to what we had presented last month. So this shows what your levy will be going forward. It doesn't take into account at this time any additional borrowings, but it shows what that levy structure will be going forward. On both of the GEO issues, the notes and the bonds, the city had a rating from Moody's Investor Services. The city's A1 rating was affirmed. It's a very good rating. Just to kind of quickly summarize the rating scale, AAA is the highest. There's only 5 municipalities in the state that are rated AAA. Then AA1, AA2, AA3, and then A1, your category. So it's a very, I think, common rating for a community the size of Columbus, but the rating report's attached to the pre-sale report for the notes. One item that they note in particular is really the city's strong budgetary performance over the years, implemented generally conservative budget practices, and the fund balance that you've been able to maintain over the years provides strong liquidity and gives the city some financial flexibility if it's needed. So the rating report was largely positive, so I encourage you to read that when you have an opportunity. So the final bond issue was the sewer revenue bond issue, and this financed the sewer portion of the James Street project. And this entire issue is being paid by sewer revenues. So for this issue, there were 5 bids received. The winning bid was Bankers Bank out of Madison with partnership in F&M and Union Bank here in Columbus. They participated with Bankers Bank. The true interest cost came in at 3.374% over the life of the bond issue. The total debt service cost over the 20-year life of the bond issue was only $2,000 higher than what we estimated. So essentially came in exactly where we had estimated with just $2,000 more over a 20-year bond. So that's over the whole life of the issue. So the overall impact of the sewer utility is identical to what we had projected last month. So just one page I want to direct your attention to in the sewer report is really the last page. This summarizes all of the debt that will be outstanding going forward for the sewer utility. So there's the geo debt, the portion of the geo debt that's paid by the sewer utility on the left. And then there are 3 revenue bond issues, the one that you're considering this evening, 2 revenue bonds that were issued in 2007 and 2011, shows the total debt service for the sewer utility going forward. So it will be relatively level going forward, so consistent payments in your budget. And I know you're going through a review of your sewer rate study, which is timely. So the action related to the bond sales on your agenda there are 3 resolutions, a separate resolution for each agenda. Again, the dollar amounts were reduced for each bond issue. So for the notes, it's $1,535,000. For the Series B, the bonds, it's $1,090,000. And for the sewer revenue bonds, it's $1,935,000. And all the final resolutions are attached. The only thing different from the drafts is that it includes the sale results from today's bond sales. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have at this time.
Are there any questions for Greg? Seeing none, okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you also to Kim and Patrick for your work on this. Before we start, I don't think I'm required to, at least on the advice of counsel. He said I was not required to disclose this, but I just want to disclose it for the record. I am a very small shareholder in F&M Bank. So I just want to put that out there just so there's no possible issues with that not being disclosed. So we have then new business number 1, consider and take action on resolution 817, resolution awarding the sale of $1,545,000 in general obligation corporate purpose bond series 2017A.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 8-17.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Aye.
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed. Unanimous.
Thank you. Similarly, we have item 2, resolution 917, resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $1,130,000 general obligation promissory notes, series 2017B. I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Tome,
Aye.
Traxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed. Rule.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 3, we have resolution 1017, resolution authorizing the issuance and sale of $1,940,000 sewer system revenue bonds, series 2017C of the city of Columbus, Columbia County, Wisconsin, providing for the payment of the bonds and other details with respect to the bonds. I would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Traxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed. Rule.
Aye.
Tome.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 4, we have resolution 1117, resolution appointing Bond Trust Services Corporation to serve as fiscal agent in connection with outstanding obligations. Do you want to say something, Kim?
Currently, the city uses Depository Trust Company out of New York and Florida and Bond Trust Services to make our bond payments. Depository Trust Company has a tendency to not always be real reliable at getting notices and things to us in a timely manner. And I'm just requesting that, we adopt this resolution to consolidate all of our bond payments with one fiscal agent versus using 2. And we've had excellent luck with Bond Trust Services. They're very reliable.
Sounds good. Any questions for Kim? All right. Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1117, appointing Bond Trust Services Corp. to serve as fiscal agent with outstanding obligations.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed. Rule.
Aye.
Tome.
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 5, consider and take action on letter of engagement with Quarles and Brady for the issuance of GO Corporate Purpose Bonds Series 2017 A and GO Promissory Notes 2017 B. Anything you want to add? We're required to use outside legal counsel other than the firm that represents the city. Quarles and Brady has historically been that firm. So I would entertain a motion to approve that letter of engagement.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Tome.
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 6, similarly, we have a letter of engagement with Quarles and Brady for the issuance of sewer system revenue bonds, Series 2017C. Would entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Tome.
Aye.
Traxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Thank you both. I think we're making progress on getting this all taken care of, and it's good to have more than one bidder and a healthy bidding situation on this as well. We have item 7, 2017 downtown business signage plan relating to the James Street construction project. Last time we talked about the possibility of using some city funds to possibly pay for some of these signs. And I believe Patrick had a memo in the packet, 12 signs would be $3,600. I don't know if we want to do that. There's also some discussion of maybe asking Tourism Commission to contribute some or all of that money. So, Trina.
Could someone remind me, how much have we planned on paying for a possible intern that we have not found?
I would, it's about the same, a little bit more, but I'll let Patrick
Right.
address that.
But I believe the number was 5,300, and some of that is boosted by a scholarship that we, or a grant that we received from the Wisconsin City County Managers
I believe the deadline was extended though through this Friday.
for the search
Or was
for
it
the
last Friday? For
this Friday.
Okay, so this
Mhm.
Friday, so we are still looking for that intern. I'm always looking for unpaid interns, so if anyone in the audience is interested. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just wondering if there would be a savings if we went without an intern, although the grant was covering part of it.
Correct.
Any further discussion?
I guess I have a question
Yeah.
too, just about how we would initially finance it. I mean, if we were gonna look to the Tourism Commission for partial financing of that, we wouldn't know that right away, I guess.
Correct.
So, we need to find a direct source to fund it for now until we,
Yeah, in the memo that I provided, aside from an option of looking at tourism and room tax, I also suggested that we could use contingency, and I thought about, the way it's been going with projects recently, that, there's been actual costs coming in short of what we prepare for. You obviously want to make sure you have the funds to cover. If there were those funds, we could utilize those. But in either case, if we use contingency, we could later, if the room tax came through, we could do a budget amendment to address that and then replenish the contingency fund.
Anything else, Michael?
no, I would be in favor of at least asking Tourism Commission to see if they'd be interested in helping with at least a portion of this. But outside of that, I'm in favor of using contingency until we find a better solution.
Rod?
Could these signs stay up after road construction? Or are they coming down right afterwards? I mean, could they be utilized? Are they good enough for that, or?
Well, the city's what we've been working with the downtown group, the city's portion of it is the top sign, which are directional signs towards our municipal lots. So I think they would have use outside of the project. I think you kind of want to look at our existing signs. We don't want to, flood the downtown with signs and everything, but that's a possibility.
Anything else? Michael?
We are buying the signs though, so we could use these in future street projects, correct?
Sure, right. And actually, in talking with Davis and Dave today, signage can be repurposed, for other uses too. Say that the message isn't quite what we need it to be for a different type of sign, we can work to redo it, but we have the piece that goes on the pole, so to speak, and
Okay.
can use it in that way if need be.
Great.
So they're not completely disposable.
Good.
Anything else? Seeing none, then are there any motions on the signage?
Are
I'll
we
make a motion.
including in the motion the language that Mike was speaking of here with the requesting tourism commission and using contingency? Are we including all that in the motion?
That's up to the council. I think there has to be at least understanding that the money may not come in from the tourism.
Mm-hmm.
We can ask all we want, but maybe the tourism chair wants to say anything.
We could certainly bring it to us, and it's up to the body, so I can't really speak on how they would approve it or deny it.
So then is there a motion to approve the $3,600 in, for signage for downtown, out of the city contingency with a request that tourism examine the issue?
So moved.
Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second to expend $3,600 from the city contingency account on downtown business signage relating to the James Street construction project with an ask for the Tourism Commission to also address the issue. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Rule,
Aye.
Tome,
Aye.
Draxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. 8, we have Resolution 717, resolution authorizing execution of the Department of Natural Resources Principal Forgiven Financial Assistance Agreement. Basically a grant from the DNR relative to replacing lead laterals. So it's all forgiven. It's not a loan. Eric was here last time and explained that. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Okay. Tome,
Aye.
Draxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. Item 9, we have a request of Platinum Communities, which is the Larson House, for a third driveway access for 570 River Road. I believe maybe a representative was here last time. I'm not entirely sure anymore, but that they were at the Plan Commission. Okay, so that was discussed here last time. They're looking to add on to the building, requesting the third driveway access. Any concerns? Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to approve the third driveway access for 570 River Road.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, Ann will take the roll.
Draxler,
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Tome,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. Item 10, we have considered and take action to amend task order 2015-9 with R&M for 2016 street reconstruction design bidding and construction services. Jason, do you want to add anything?
I actually have some questions. what was the process for submitting your invoices for this task order? Did you submit them as the hours were accrued?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Because I have a task order tracking report in front of me that shows dates, specifically for citizen inquiries, which I assume are the same as resident engagement. Okay. And it shows, I don't know, $2,500 estimated paid out. But it seems like this table shows that we're just short $5,200. So I don't know if maybe you could explain that to me. I don't have a copy of it for you, but I could.
Yeah, some of those citizen inquiries on the invoices were broke out separately at the point last year when we knew that we were going to be exceeding the task order. And I had met with a couple, I believe it was the mayor and the council president and city staff at the time. And at that point, what we decided to do was to track that and break it out separately as we were accruing it. So that's kind of the end portion of it. There was time that occurred throughout the entire project, but if you would look at the dates on those would be only for kind of the end of the project.
So it wasn't all submitted as it was accrued then?
It was, because it was throughout the course of the project, but the piece that was when we knew that we were going to be over, that's what was the detailed piece that was submitted and broke out separately that you're seeing as part of the invoices. We actually submitted that under a separate invoice at the time for payment, so that's why it shows up as kind of by itself, but it doesn't add up to the total.
Okay. So the ledger that has all the 2017 dates, which doesn't concern me at all, we know it was all 2016, where it lists the 6 hours, is that per week, I guess?
Yeah, on average.
So that's all 6 hours that was unpaid and separated as you went?
That was invoiced against the project as we went. And so we have a not to exceed contract. And so what we bill against that contract until we get to the limit, we do track it, but I'm a little less concerned with if we estimated that we spent 2 hours and we actually spent 4. I mean, that's what you guys pay us to do, is to basically handle the issues. So we were tracking that along. And so when I said 6 hours, I kind of estimated it. There's probably some weeks that were 8 and some weeks that were 4, but we just took the total hours and averaged it over the course because it was throughout the duration of the whole project, where we felt, starting with day one when we started cutting trees, we were out there and engaged and had a lot of citizen meetings at that point. So we were probably a little heavier on time up front and a little heavier at time on the back, towards the end. But there's probably several weeks where we may have only had a couple hours. So I guess what I said was I just took the total hours and I just kind of averaged it over to represent that it was throughout the whole duration of the project, is what I wanted to represent to the council.
Anything further?
I guess I have a question for council, which is, would folks up here be agreeable to maybe amending this request to pay partial? We sat in that meeting back in January. We had the good back and forth, execution, communication, issues like that were involving Rupert Milky, city administration, all that. So I guess what I'm looking for is a shared sharing of the burden here, and perhaps maybe even just go on 50% of the total you're requesting. Thoughts?
I guess to your comments, since we've been going through this and had the post-mortem or the wrap-up meeting after the construction as well, I think there's been a lot of lessons learned here. But in going back to the original task order that we approved for this, I do feel that it's, part of, Jason or Rupert Melky's task to kind of define the scope of the work that's required for the project. And at times I can understand that would be hard to do when you have escalated citizen engagement. But I would agree to maybe split the difference. I think that we've all learned some lessons in marching forward. I think that, maybe we address these things, and I know that you've been changing the way you've been presenting these task orders to the city council since then. So I would support if that's a motion, I guess, to split it 50% with Rupert Melky.
Anyone else? Andy?
Where is this budgeted from? Where are we paying for this out of?
That would be from the capital projects for the street project last year.
So there's leftover in there?
There's enough to cover the request in this amendment.
Right, thanks.
I would be in favor of paying the full amount of the request. I think the difficult projects, things were not accounted for. I think R&M's capped the billing at the project, so there won't be any more billing on the project. It's been a long time relationship with the city and R&M, but that's my 2 cents. So if there are any motions, we'll entertain them now.
I'll make a motion to approve paying the task order at 50% of the requested amount.
Okay. Well, wait, if there is a second on the motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, so there is a second. Jason?
Just for discussion purposes, I did want to remind everybody that when we brought this forward, that there was a portion that we were already not bringing forth to the city, so we were already felt like we were sharing in it, and that was about $10,000, just for reference, so everybody was aware of that, and, you know, just for consideration again, but I do appreciate the consideration, so, thanks.
So we have a motion and a second to approve 50% of the task order adjustment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Hendrickson,
No?
Malat,
No.
Reed,
Nay.
Rule,
Aye.
Tone,
Aye.
Drexler.
Aye.
Reed, you were an aye or no?
I was a no.
No. 3-3. Fails. Ties.
3-3. Well, it's a tough one for me because of the fact that my concern would be a no vote would mean R&M would get nothing, potentially. No.
I'd like to bring a motion to approve the task order as presented and pay the full amount to Rupert Milkey.
I'll second.
So we have a motion and a second then to approve the entire 31,923. Any discussion on that? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Malat,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
No.
Tone,
Nay.
Drexler,
No.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
3-3.
Aye. 2 tie votes in one night.
In a row.
In a row. Thank you.
Didn't see that second tie coming.
All right, we have then, item 11, we have 2 appointments, Marcy Bindle and Julie Burgett to the Pool Advisory Board. Both of them have young children. I will admit that I know Julie much better than I know Marcy. Patrick did say she would be good. Not that I'm delegating, but they both have children. I believe Marcy substitute teaches the elementary school or volunteers, and so they're both willing to serve. I think Amy, Joe, they put it out and kind of found some volunteers for that board. So I'd be looking for a motion to approve those 2 appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Reed,
Aye.
Rule,
Aye.
Tone,
Aye.
Drexler.
Aye.
Hendrickson,
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 12, we have a change of agent for the Columbus Country Club. We have Bill Shear. Bill Shear's the new manager there, so he'll be the new agent for the club. Entertain a motion to approve the change of agent.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Rule,
Aye.
Cone,
Aye.
Troxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Item 13, we have claims in the amount of $2,936,346.44. Just want to point out that some of these are tax settlements, and so forth.
Most of them.
Right. So we have not spent a lot of money. It's transferring money that we collected to the tech college, the county, and the school, and so on.
I'll make a motion to approve the claims.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, and we'll take the roll.
Tone,
Aye.
Troxler.
Aye.
Hendrickson.
Aye.
Malat.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Rule.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you. Report of city officers. Does anyone have anything to add up here? Seeing none, I will defer to Patrick.
Thank you,
Not
Mayor.
Delegate.
Just a couple things to report tonight. Anybody who's been in the downtown knows the James Street project is off and running. Seeing a lot of trees go down, which was expected. And I guess the message is, I guess everyone needs to just get used to it, and we'll work with you as much as we can to communicate what's happening. And in the end, we'll have a street that we can all be proud of and desperately needed. So yesterday, some public works staff and I met with the Columbia County Solid Waste to start to nail down the plans for a spring cleanup. We'll be bringing that to council with details. So just wanted to let you know that we are working on that as a important piece to the waste collection contract. And over the last couple of weeks, the representatives from Baker Tilly were in City Hall working on the audit for 2016. So they've worked on the on-site work necessary. They're doing the compilation piece of that. And so we should see the drafts of the audit coming probably within a few weeks. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. So Patrick talked about James Street, so I won't repeat much of that, but it's been a long time getting to this point, and excited to see some progress and the finished result. I just want to let people know that the Pavilion birthday party is March 26th. That's a Sunday, and that's 11 to 4, I believe. But you can check out the city website for more information on that. And hope many of you can make it. Don Peachy and his band will be playing. HLPC worked hard on. So I think Alderman Rule is excited.
Oh, man.
So,
Love a
but
good polka.
the HLPC put a lot of time and effort, and money that they, raised with, support from the community for this project. It's, I think, well needed and overdue, and, excited to see that come to completion. Contingent of us, as part of the utility, went to the WPPI meeting and gave a little bit of a talk about Columbus to their executive committee. Jack, Michelle from the utility, Eric, myself, Larry Olson went over there and talked to WPPI. They provide a lot of, that's obviously who the city buys its power from, but they provide a lot of back office and technical support to Eric and his crew down there. Similarly, went to DC with many of the local officials from WPPI to talk to Congress about municipal issues specifically related to public utilities. Jack Sanderson and Larry Olson from the utility went. Wisconsin had a very large delegation, over 10% of the total. I think public utilities are something that we take seriously in Wisconsin, probably because we were ignored by the larger investor-owned utilities, 120 years ago, and we had to, do it ourselves. So, of course, the big thing again is the concern about tax exempt financing and will that go away. Personally, I don't think tax exempt financing for municipal bonds is at jeopardy, given the one thing that the Republican Party, Democratic Party, and the president seem to agree on is the need or want to spend more money on infrastructure. And given that the localities spend so much money on infrastructure, I don't see tax exempt financing as a big a risk as maybe it once was, but still an issue that we need to be concerned with. Last Friday, the Department of Justice, Attorney General Schimmel, had a meeting, a roundtable discussion with elected officials as well as staff members, primarily human services and law enforcement staffers in Portage, with many people from the county. I attended along with Patrick and Chief Meister, and in discussion on mental health issues, access to mental health services for people in need of an emergency detention, etc., opioid abuse, drug abuse, that problem. So I think that was a healthy discussion. Senator Olson, Representatives Rip, and then Representative Considine, who represents Sauk County, Portage area, was also there, and would also just like to report that privileged and honored to again have been appointed to a second term on the Madison Area Technical College District Board last night. So I look forward to continuing to serve the needs of the northern region of the MATC district on that board. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll take about a 5-minute break between meetings. Thank you.